Hey everybody, it's me, Super Paul Games. Welcome back to Made with Perfection. Apparently, our maid here is going to have to soon fight another maid, so we gotta get her prepared. May the Maid Games begin. Day 1, Saturday morning. So we can have her train, clean, or rest. I don't see any, like any little bars to show stuff. Let's have her train. I decided to have her train first. No, Nobby nodded and started running laps around the lobby using the stairs. Not wanting to get in the way, I rushed back to my room to eat my breakfast and play some video games. Wow, I am so helpful. I am so damn helpful. Yeah, well, you get ready to fight a life or death thing for your job and your career and future. I'm gonna go play Mario Brothers. I could hear Nobby running up and down the stairs of the lobby and paused to do some push-ups or sit-ups to break the rhythm. Day 1, Saturday afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Nobby appeared at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, but I knew that I had to dictate what she had to do for the rest of the day. I still feel bad about that. And she had to make lunch? Remember, cleaning is important, too. We will have you clean. I decided to have her clean first, because if she fails in her cleaning duties, she can get demoted, too. Nobby nodded and took up her broom, cleaning the lobby first. Can I at least help her? I trusted Nobby to clean up everything to par with how maids are supposed to keep the house. As the day started to end, Nobby fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned and went to bed myself. Yeah, because my life is so hard. Today was just so mind-jarring and so hard to close my eyes. However, I managed to sleep eventually. Whoa. Main character, woe is you. Your life is so hard. You had to eat food people made for you, play video games. Day 2, Sunday morning. I woke up the next day and stretched yawning. I looked at the time, 10:30 in the a.m. Oh, football will be on in not too long, a couple hours. As a knock appeared at my door, I looked at my door and said, enter, knowing it was Nobby with food. Nobby entered the room with a tray covered in delicious breakfast food, and I, of course, ate every last bite with happiness. This poor girl. She's got to fight someone. She might die, and I'm just like, nom, 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 eat my eggs, nom. However, as I finished, Nobby bowed to me and asked me to instruct her for the day. Would this happen every day? What should Nobby do for the first half of the day? I want her to train some more. I decided to have her train. Nobby nodded and excused herself, leaving the room. She's got to train and get ready. Out of curiosity, I snuck a glance out of my room and looked out to see Nobby practicing martial arts in the lobby. She had moved half of all the furniture to do her training. It was kind of cool to watch, but I decided to leave her alone. I didn't want to break her concentration if she caught me staring. What, trying to look at her sweaty panties? Ew. I looked to the time and decided to wander around the house and explore. I didn't find much except for a couple of bathrooms, a large dining room, an equally large kitchen, a pool, a sauna, and multiple bedrooms. Holy fuck, we got a huge house. I most likely would never get used to how big this house was. Apparently, if our maid loses, we won't, because we'll go back to our old life and find out that our job is gone, because the guy got us, he told our boss that we were quitting. Day 2, Sunday in the afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Nobby appeared at my door once again with lunch. It was perfect, of course, just like her. What should Nobby do for the second half of the day? Let's have her train again. I decided to have her train. Nobby nodded and excused herself, leaving the room. Out of curiosity, I snuck a glance out of the room and looked out at Nobby to see her practicing. Okay, we've already seen all of that before. At the end of the day, Nobby fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned, or I went to bed. Day 2 done. Day 3, Monday morning. The morning started with a surprise visit from the man who drove me here. He apparently was an instructor for the maids and came with an evaluation on Nobby. He approved at how clean Nobby kept the mansion. She is awesome. He ran his finger on every visible wood and marble surface, checking for dust and found nothing. I looked to Nobby, who smiled at me before nodding and watching the man finish his evaluation. For now, she was passing her examination. Apparently, he also knew about the quarrel between Angela and myself. He wished me luck, but reminded me not to overwork Nobby. None of this seems fucked up to you, dude. None of this? I had to remember that. As he left, Nobby looked to me for a day assignment. Let's have you train again. I decided to take a dip in the pool myself. I needed to work out too. Yeah, because that's the same thing. She's fighting for her life, and I'm like, I gotta swim a lap. I'll go lounge in the shallow end. After I got out, I noticed the room to Nobby's door open. Was she training elsewhere? Out of curiosity, I decided to find Nobby and watch a bit of how she trained. She'd been training hard. I like to get hard, and I was curious. She was a soldier after all. Would she be doing laps? Would she be hitting a punching bag? Whoa. She's in her maid outfit? You know that I think about it, and this shows how unobservant I am, that's a pretty slutty maid outfit. She wasn't far, she was in the middle of the lobby doing complete sit-ups on the floor. I could only stare. I could only perv on her as she continued to pull her upper body off the ground and up before letting it go back down. She was doing this in a tight-fitting corset dress. How? Then I remember she was a trained soldier. Yeah, Marines are always training in corsets, I know. This was probably in her training. I watched as she did 10, 20, 30. By 40, she was getting a staggered breath. 50 brought soft sweat. I had to admire her dedication. She looked determined to get stronger and better. I felt kind of flattered in a strange way. I decided to leave her alone. I didn't want to break her concentration. Day 3, Monday in the afternoon. Man, I feel like I'm working her ragged. As the afternoon started to approach, Nabi reappeared at my door with lunch. I ate it happily, of course, because I'm a giant fat ass, but I knew that I had to dictate what she did for the rest of the day. I'm gonna let her rest. Like, she is busting her ass cleaning. I feel guilty I'm not helping out and training. Take some time off. I decided to leave her to rest. Nabi nodded and excused herself to her room. Nabi definitely deserved a break. As the day started to end, Nabi fixed me dinner. That's your break. Go take a break for 2 hours, then make me dinner. Oh man, she's got such an easy life. Before excusing herself for the night, I yawned again. Went to bed, sliding by day 3 into day 4. Day 4, Tuesday morning. I woke up the next day and stretched, yawning. Looked at the time, 9:30 a.m. Why am I getting up earlier? I woke up early. A knock at my door. I looked at my door and said enter, knowing it was Nabi. Nabi entered the room with a tray covered in delicious breakfast food. I want all of that. However, as I finished, Nabi looked at me and surprised me. Did she punch me in the balls? Because that would surprise me.
Master, may I ask you something?
Anything you want, Nobbles, my dear.
Huh? Sure. What's up?
Do you like me serving you?
Hell yes. And I like perving on you. Oh, I shouldn't have said that aloud. What kind of question was that? Of course I loved her serving me. Not that she was like a servant or whatever. She kinda is, dude. But she kept the house clean and was fighting to stay with me. She became important to me. I could say, yes, I like you, or you're serving me is great, but why would you serve me and fight to be here? I need to do that. I need to know more about her. You're serving me is great, but why would you serve and fight to be here? Nabi looked at me before blushing wildly. What? Was her reason bad? It's because I'm cute, right? In the first episode, she said I'm cute. She's like, I need a cute boy, and the only way to get that is to murder people. She took her head, or shook her head, and looked at me nervously.
Well, you see, I guess you interested me, Master.
Your panties interested me.
I interested you?
Yeah, and I kind of think you're cute. I, hope you don't mind.
Oh, I hate that, because you always know guys hate it when cute women say they're cute. I gotta be bashful now. Oh, I think you're cute too. Her face turned red as she fiddled with the hem of her dress. She looked even cuter than before. I almost wanted to pull her over and hug her. Oh, I was thinking bend her over. Oh, now I'm the perv. Oh, awkward. However, my mind read back to the fight between Red and Nabi. That's right, she had to focus on winning the fight. Now was not the time for flirting and calling each other cute. You know what, Nabi? Even if you lose the fight, we can be friends, maybe? Touch each other gently? Nabi bowed to me and asked me to instruct her for the day. What should Nabi do for the first half of the day? You should clean. This place is a pigsty. I decided to have her clean first. Nabi nodded and took up a bucket of cleaning supplies, cleaning the bathrooms today. I trusted Nabi to clean up everything up to par with how maids are supposed to keep the house. Tuesday afternoon. As afternoon started to approach, Nabi reappeared at my door with lunch. How she managed to balance everything was a little fuzzy. Maybe she's got 2 of her. But I trust her to do her best. I still feel guilty. Our guy is such a ass that he doesn't help out. What's she gonna do in the second part of the day? We're gonna have her train, because I don't want her to get killed. Even if we lose her, I want her to be okay. I decided to have her train. Nabi noticed and excused herself, leaving the room. I could hear her grunts, oh, that's hot, and quiet pants. I could not help but sneak a glance out of my room. She was running laps using the staircase railing as her track instead of the stairs. She looked like a ninja. I'm good at words. As the day started to end, Nabi fixed me dinner before excusing herself for the night. I yawned again and went to bed. Let's go, day 5. Day 5, Wednesday morning. I woke up to hear Nabi knocking at my door. Despite me not doing anything while I lived here, other than play video games, I got to sleep a lot. Come on, dude. Help her out. At least wrestle with her. Nabi brought in my breakfast and awaited my instructions. How about you train some more, girl? I decided I would train first. Nabi nodded and left me alone with my video games. I could hear Nabi running up and down the stairs of the lobby and pause to do some push-ups or sit-ups to break the rhythm. Wednesday, day 5 afternoon. As the afternoon started to approach, Nabi reappeared at my door with lunch. I ate it again like a wolf. Alright, I gotta tell her what to do. We're gonna have her train again. And she leaves me alone with her video games. I could hear her running up and down the stairs. And we're going to bed again. Day 6, Thursday morning. So there's 7 days. I don't remember, do we train on the 7th day or not? I woke up the next day and stretched, yawning. Look at the time, 10:25 a.m. As a knock appeared on my door, I looked to the door and said enter, knowing it was Nabi with food. Nabi entered the room with a tray covered in delicious breakfast food, and I, of course, ate every last bite with happiness. However, as I finished, Nabi bowed to me and asked me to instruct her for the day. What did we had her train twice in a row, right? So why don't you clean? She grabbed her brooms. I trusted Nabi to clean up everything. Even my jizz. What you? As the afternoon started to approach, Nabi reappeared at my door with lunch. What should she do for the second half of the day? I think she should... Oh, you should rest. I decided to have her rest. Nabi nodded and excused herself to her room. I don't want her to overdo it, you know? I want to make sure she doesn't overwork herself. As the day started to end, Nabi made me another delicious dinner. I yawned and went to bed. Tomorrow was the last day for her before the fight. Friday morning. The morning started with a final surprise from the man who drove me here. Inspection time. I want to inspect her lady parts. He was very meticulous in his inspection, finding dust and disorganization in places I didn't think anybody would care about. I thought she cleaned well. I looked to Nabi, who kept her eyes at her feet in shame. I bit my lip. Maybe I should have her clean sometimes. I did have her clean! He looked at me before shaking his head and looking to Nabi.
Sorry, but you have failed your duties. I'm afraid I'll have to send you back to the academy for more training.
You fucking bastard! No! She can't go! We had another day, you fuckhead!
I understand.
No, you don't understand! Wait, what was this for real? She was getting taken away? Nabi sadly turned away from me and headed for the room. I walked to follow, but the guy who had given me the declaration stepped in front of me. Before I could even blink, I felt something sharp pierce my neck like a mosquito with a giant sucker. I stared up at the guy as he held up something against my neck, trying to make out words as he said my head... Or, that he said as my head began to spin.
I guess the middle class cannot participate in this experiment.
Fuck you, because I was nice and I let her rest? I don't want to be a part of you upper class if it's like that. The next thing I knew, I blacked out and I awoke in my old house in my bed. I looked around wondering why I was sleeping and what day it was.
What happened?
I looked at my phone and saw the date. What the? I swore that time sped forward a week. What happened? I tried to remember what had happened the past week, not remembering going to work, but as I tried to dig through my memories, I came up with nothing. It was like there was a tiny void in my brain, a week-long void. What had happened? Bad ending, messy ending. Oh, are you kidding, game? Alright, we're gonna go from this point. This time, instead of having her rest so much, I'm just gonna have her clean, because we want to make sure this place is spick and span and makes that idiot guy's inspection. I'm almost speechless about that. The morning started with a final surprise visit from the man who drove me here, inspection time. He was very impressed on how clean the mansion was. That's right, bitch! It's the cleanest mansion you ever seen! He almost ran his finger on every wood surface and marble surface, checking for dust, and found absolutely nothing. I looked at Nabi, who smiled at me before nodding and watching the man finish his evaluation. As he finished, he gave Nabi a thumbs up. She did her part well enough to pass? Nabi started, jumping happily. Yeah, jump, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. I assumed that she did her job right and almost started bouncing with her, and with my own jiggles. She wanted to get taken away for skippy duties, yay! After his inspection, he stopped to look at Nabi. I watched as he circled her, and as she stood at attention like a soldier to her sergeant. He smiled and nodded, placing a hand on her shoulder. Don't touch her, she's mine! Nabi, however, let out a tired sigh. For some reason, she looked more wiped out than usual. I looked at Nabi, noticing dark circles in her eyes. Did the jumping she did exhaust her? The guy looked at me with concern, and I looked back at him with a gulp. Maybe I should have let her rest more before training and cleaning. As he left, Nabi looked at me for her assignment, or day assignment. Jeez, even on the final day, she was determined to win against Red. Alright, she definitely needs rest. I decided to have her rest. She needed to relax before the fight. Nabi nodded and excused herself to her room. I'm gonna play more video games. That's what I do. Durr. Nabi definitely deserved a break. What is the last thing we have her do? As the afternoon started to approach, Nabi reappeared with my lunch. What am I gonna have her do? Do I have her train? Or clean? Or rest again? You know, I think I'm gonna save that decision for next episode. Next episode, maybe the final episode, I will pick what we have her do, and then we're going to see how the fight goes. So thanks so much for everybody for watching this episode of Maid with Perfection. I cannot wait to see how it goes. Hopefully she kicks the crap out of Red.